Red Ice Creations Radio. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Henrik Palmgren and this is Internet Talk Radio recorded from the west coast of Sweden. Wherever you are, you can find us from around the world through our website, redicecreations.com. That's REDICE creations.com. We are here doing radio on Thursdays and Sundays. Our website also features news updated every day with interesting, thought-provoking and important news stories from around the world and beyond. We also have links to research, videos and other material up there for you. And don't forget to take advantage of our member section. We have our entire radio archive available there for you, going back over 2 years. We also have extended interviews with many of our guests. We have video interviews, a members forum, articles, a short film, and much more of that is coming. You'll find all the information on redicecreations.com. Today we have Jake Kotze back with us on the program. It was about 6 months ago since we had the Synchromistic Wizard on the show, so we're well overdue for an update on what he's been doing lately and talk about some of the areas that he has been looking into. I know that he's featured in an upcoming documentary called Gnosis that I want to talk more about later on in the program. I also want to mention that Jake has moved his headquarters, if you will, from the Brave New World Order over to the Blob. That's the new place. You can go there simply by typing in rundonotwalk.blogspot.com, and that will take you to the Blob, so you can check out some of the work that he's been doing lately. If you are new to Jake's material, you can also go into our radio archive and listen to some of those programs that we've done with Jake that will give you a good background on some of the things that we'll be discussing here today. So with that, let's say welcome back to Jake Kotze. It's nice to have you back on the program. Thank you for coming on, Jake.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Heinrich.
Tell us a little bit about the Blob. You moved your headquarters, if you will, since we last spoke. Tell us about the Blob.
Well, it was sort of an organic process. I was writing at the Brave New World Order, actually doing videos mostly at the Brave New World Order at that point, and I wanted a space where I could, write a bit as I'm doing videos, because the space between videos was just so great. It takes quite a while to make one of the videos, and I just wanted a place where I could put up a few ideas, random little cuttings from this and that. So I just started doing the Blob just for that. But then after a while, I stopped doing the videos and I really got into writing again and just continued at the Blob. And because I haven't gotten it back to doing videos, the Blob has basically organically become the main site just over time. I'm not entirely sure if I will, stay at the Blob maybe I'll leave the Brave New World Order for videos when I make videos again, which I'm intending to do shortly. So we'll see what happens. But definitely the Blob is where I'm based at this point.
Okay, well, so you haven't kind of moved away from doing video material. It's not like a conscious plan in that sense, I guess.
No, it wasn't a conscious plan. I feel it's worked out well because it's allowed me to develop ideas in a different way than you would when you do a video, and you can really get into depth describing something. When you're doing a video, 10-minute video for YouTube that I used to do, they're sort of brief and you're trying to just get the main points in there, but here you can really go into depth there. So it's been good for me to develop my ideas and explain myself a little bit more. I'm trying to get an understanding of how these things work. And so the Blob has just naturally become the site where I'm working at this point. Yeah.
Brilliant. And I mentioned briefly the Gnosis clip. I linked that up on Red Ice a few days ago, so I hope that people that are tuning in have seen it. It's really interesting. It's well done. It's beautiful. It's nice filmed. The animation or the imagery is very nice to the brief talk, if you will, that Jake is given. Tell us a little bit about the background to Gnosis, Jake.
Well, it's interesting because synchronicity, what I research and how I research things, what I call synchromysticism, it's sort of part of how these things come to pass. I sort of entrain with synchronicity and then follow up on synchronicity, and I can sort of see how the things that are happening to me, like getting involved in the Gnosis project, it's been years now, but I can see the synchronicities as it sort of worked up to the point where I'm involved in that project. originally I was in a store here in Winnipeg, in my hometown Winnipeg, called Custom Culture. And it's interesting because it's spelled KK, Custom Culture, with 2 Ks instead of the usual way you would spell Custom Culture.
Ah.
And I do a lot of work on double K on the blog. So that was interesting. So I was in the store, and I was looking at books by David Icke, and somebody noticed me there and was talking to me about David Icke's books and about conspiracies and stuff, and said I should check out a documentary that's going to be shown at one of the universities here in Winnipeg that these filmmakers have made about Bolivia. It was called The Real Thing, and it was about coca, the coca plant and the coca farmers and how they get exploited by America, and, you know, coca being used to make drugs and all these sort of subjects. So I got interested, and I went and saw it at the university, and then I saw the filmmakers there and just, you know, took note that these guys are in town doing this stuff. And then we have a local newspaper as well, the Uptown, and the only good article in there, the only good articles that I used to read in there was by the same filmmaker, this Jim Sanders guy, one of the filmmakers, who's also the guy who does the Gnosis thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year, I went and researched crop circles with Ben Fairhall and got to the Eden Project, which are these giant geodesic domes that they have in Cornwall. And was walking through there with some friends, and there was cocoa plant in there as well. And I was telling them about this documentary that I'd seen that this Jim Sanders and had made. And I get back to London a few days later, and I have an email from Jim Sanders, who has noticed that I live in Winnipeg where he lives through the work that I've been doing on my website. So it's just all these synchronicities coming together. And then he eventually approached me to be interviewed for the documentary that he's making, a new one that will be out next year in January. It's all about consciousness and Winnipeg and synchronicities. So it all worked out very well and interesting.
Nice. So let's see here. The spelling is Nosis for those who are
yes.
Interested in taking a look at the trailer for this project. And also, were you handed the clip for this beforehand? Because I didn't see any of that in the official trailer, if you will, of you in there. So
the project that they've been working on it for a while. And I've only recently been interviewed for this, and other people have been. Alex Gray has been interviewed for this, and Jeremy Narby has been interviewed for this.
Ah, nice.
And that was also very interesting, because when I was that same day, I'm talking about when I was in Custom Culture, the first sort of lead that led to the Gnosis interview. The book I bought there that day was Jeremy Narby's Cosmic Serpent.
Ah, yeah.
And Jim and Jeremy Narby, they know each other, and they also know the same shaman, Juan Flores, who I believe is also mentioned in the Cosmic Serpent. They know each other, so the whole thing is sort of connected if you look at all these bits. And then very interesting to me with the double K of the Custom Culture store that I was in, and then the cocoa plant that I was talking to my friends about at the Eden Project when I was doing crop circle research. So there's all these interesting connections.
I just got to mention that the Jeremy Narby book, that's actually one of the first, the Cosmic Serpent, that's one of the first book I actually first bought. I was actually also in a bookstore looking for David Icke books, but came across this book because it had the serpent and the cosmic, in it. And I got to say, it's I don't know if you read it yet or not, but it's a wonderful book, and it's simply amazing, some of the information he put together in that book. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, the book definitely influenced me a lot when it comes to how I think about DNA and consciousness, and the twin serpent imagery of the caduceus, and how that relates to the Kundalini serpent energy, and the sort of influenced me a lot to get more away from the idea of ancient astronaut as entities coming from outer space interacting with mankind, to perhaps more entities or facets of our own consciousness that we are accessing through this Kundalini DNA related energy that Jeremy Narby is talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the serpent in this case is kind of the mediator, if you will, of knowledge or of even information. I mean, one of the classic examples in the book that he mentions is the fact that when they take some of the substances that they manage to tap into it in such a way that they're given information about certain even medicinal plants and how to make a form of anesthetics actually, and this is apparently what Western culture has based their recipe, if you will, of anesthetics on. They went down into the rainforest and brought out and made synthesized basically some of these substances that these guys managed to put together. So I mean, it's an incredible story in the background there going.
That's right, and it's very interesting because it seems like the Western world is being influenced dramatically again by the rainforest through these plants and knowledge and information that they're getting from the indigenous people in the rainforest and other places. So it's like the West and the two worlds are coming together again, and sort of maybe this is part of this consciousness awakening that's happening on the planet, or definitely is part of this consciousness awakening on the planet. The natural world and the scientific world sort of starting to merge and see eye to eye.
Indeed. And you mentioned Jeremy Norby and Alex Gray. Do you know if there are any other people included in the documentary?
I think Juan will be in there, and Jim himself will be interviewed in that film, and I don't know about other people right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you know when
It sounds very interesting and relevant to me specifically because, I live in Winnipeg, and this film will be about Winnipeg because Jim views Winnipeg as sort of a center. It's geographically located very near the center of the North American continent. And Juan, the shaman, Juan Flores, believes that this is a gathering spot of energy as we head up to, this cosmic awakening, this consciousness that's growing up on the planet. He sees Winnipeg as an important part of this. And through synchronicity, Jim, he feels like part of the synchronicity of Winnipeg being important in this. And we also have the amazing Winnipeg legislature building, which is this giant Freemasonic temple, this opulence that you wouldn't see anywhere except if you go to Washington, D.C., this amazing building.
Yeah.
This octagon at its center, in marble, and giant golden statue of Hermes or Thoth at the top of it, or some sun god.
Right.
He sees me being here and talking about synchronicities as part of that, sort of interacting with these energies and strange forces or strange attractor coming together here in the middle of the prairies. So I don't know what to say about that, but I'm following these synchronicities and just seeing where it goes. So
great, sounds perfect. And do you know? I guess they're working on the film right now. Do you know when it's going to be out?
I think January next year is the due date. So
right.
We'll see.
Brilliant, and I guess
they're working on a new because you said that there weren't clips of everybody yet in the trailer because they're still building it, and I think they're updating the trailer soon. So it should be interesting to keep an eye on what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely, and I guess that you because I took at the same time a look at the background. I guess you guys just went up to a rooftop somewhere in Winnipeg. Is that right, or where are you?
That's right. Yeah, it was just a mural in the background that I've looked at before and just sort of enjoyed the circles and sort of Stargate symbols on it, and it just happened to be where we ended up shooting as well. And there's some other interesting things in the background. There's a tiger store in the background, which I like because it's a cat, and I'm interested in cats, and all sorts of symbolism and synchronicities involved in everything if you really actually just sit down and scratch a bit below just the surface of how things appear.
Wonderful. I'm definitely looking forward to taking a look at that when